Hello everybody, this is Alex from Hardcoring Guides, bringing my guide for God of War 2 on Titan difficulty. Today, we are doing part 13, entitled Atlas. And even though this walkthrough thing over here says it's called the Face of Atlas, I'm just going to call this entire section Atlas because that's essentially practically just what it is. So, in all fairness. And yeah, once you come back here, you have a couple of harpies to fight. This is where they start getting more annoying. I don't believe that I don't think they have more health than just a regular harpy. It's just, I don't know why. I just find the sight of them just, you know, it brings back bad memories of God of War 1 and having to deal with the Hades section and dealing with the harpies constantly. And maybe that's why I hate them so much. But either way, they're just more irritating. Just probably in my own perspective, they're more irritating. But yeah, funny enough, speaking of Titan mode, we're climbing, of course, a Titan. So, and now we have access to a new tool in our utility belt, which of course is the Icarus wings, which now you can, you know, finally glide. You can also press L1 and X to do a sort of wind gust lift up attack. It replaces your L1X that you had in God of War 1, which it was just kind of like a vertical slash upwards. Which is funny, too, because the L1 circle, which I'm doing literally right now, which is ironic enough, that one right there was actually also replaced for God of War 1, for those that aren't sure about that. Yeah, it used to be a slam attack, but then they changed it to that. Also, if you see me switch between weapons, like the Barbarian Hammer and the Spear or whatever, if you see me switch a lot, that's because I have some weird tick where I like to hit buttons. I don't know if I told this or anybody really knows, but I have some strange tick while I play games. Especially with the sticks. I like to click in the sticks a lot. I kind of blame modern shooters for that, where you pretty much have to press L3 and R3 all the time, and I like to press them together just because I don't like things being not at the same time. It's very strange, I know, but everybody has like I'm sure everybody has like some kind of weird thing they do when they play games. Like some people, you know, they turn when they race, or like me, for instance, where I'm playing, like, let's say Mario or something, and I'm trying to make a jump, and I can't make that jump, and I lean forward in my chair a little bit, you know, trying to edge it ever so close. And that's just a habit. But yeah, these guys, satyrs, luckily for us, they don't take very long to stone to death. I do have level 2 Urael, so that should help. I think it's just still level 2 at this point. I believe so. I'm pretty sure all my magic's level 2, at least until we get to Atlas, which of course is just going to be level 1. But I'm going to fast forward this next section, only because I go back and forth between it, and I don't want to have to watch myself do it. So, the first thing you need to do with this bone piece is you want to take it and you want to push it outward, because there's a couple of chests up here that you can go grab, and I think one of them is, yeah, just a feather, okay. And after that, you want to run, you know, you want to move back with it, and then there you go. So I just did things out of order because I'm just that dumb. But yeah, 8,000 to level up. It's ridiculous. And we're almost leveled up to level 4 for blades, which is nice. Maybe I should have started every video by showing off my upgrades. I probably should have thought ahead about that, instead of thinking that people are just going to watch this in order. Yeah, I don't think ahead very often, do I? Well, disregarding that, Rock Titan once again. I feel like this one's just the worst, just because of his position. He doesn't move or anything like that. It's just where he's standing is just so awkward in terms of the camera. Like, I can't really get the best shot on him in terms of depth. That could be a me problem, but I don't know. So I just do what I do to every rock monster thing that we fought before, where essentially I just kind of go for the triple triangle combo, and I, you know, try to bait him into spinning, which essentially is just run up and pretty much just pray that he's going to do it. But right there, of course, this is the phase that really, really sucks. So when it comes to the rock throwing, the best time to dodge it is right when it's about to hit you. Like, I'll point it at, like, right now. So, yeah, it just becomes like a pattern. I was hitting it now. And then he lifts it now. Well, I kind of missed that one, but he lifts it, throws, now. There you go. So, like, pretty much almost as soon as the throw happens is when you want to dodge it, because he's got a weird thing where he can kind of home in on you while he's got it lifted in his hands. That seems to be kind of the trick, so. And then dodging upward or trying to dodge downward by, you know, holding R1 or whatever, I wouldn't recommend doing that. I would recommend going for, at the very least, dodging to the left or right. Sometimes you can get away with dodging up and down, but sometimes I feel like you just can't, so I don't think it's really worth it. I'm just taking pop shots with my Bane, only just because I don't know why. I guess I'm just doing it just because I want this fight over with. I did die, and I got tired of doing this, so that's pretty much why. But yeah, when he's doing that spin attack, that's the ample time when you want to kind of wind up. Now, you want to wind up with a combo attack, mainly with a finisher. That's what I'm trying to get at. I'm not sure. I can't really tell because I'm not actually playing myself. In various parts I probably could tell, but yeah, right here. Do you see how slow it took me to wind that up? That's something I was about to bring up. So you can kind of take your time with combos and stuff in God of War. And it's really nice. You could hit triangle and then wait just a second and hit triangle again. And same thing with like the final, the final blow, the finisher attack. You could wait on it to come out. You don't have to, you don't want to land that finisher right when he's attacking, like right when he's still in the animation. You want to wait for him to at least have the animation finished, because if it's not finished, he could still hit you, and thus, you'll take some damage. You don't want that, of course. So that's my tip with that is just stay away, wind up with a triple triangle, or at the very least with a full square combo. And then after that, just try to get a finisher attack. That's your main modem of attacks is that. And if that doesn't work, then just go in and throw just throw in like a few square attacks every once in a while. Wait for him to kind of, well, obviously not be attacking. And that's the thing too with the hand, the spinning hand attack is it's very hard to explain exactly how it works, but when he does his final swing, and when he's like resting his arm to his left side, his right arm goes to his left, his hand, I should say, that's a sign that he's about out of his animation of, hitting you. And you could still get hit while his arm is resting, and that's the thing that you want to try to avoid too. It's mostly just his hand, not his arm. I think you can get away with, like, at least maybe getting close to his arm, but you still don't want to get too close just in case. So, coming up is going to be another puzzle. There's nothing down here as far as I'm aware. And then, this puzzle's not a bad one. It's a pretty neat one. Essentially, you just throw these fireflies around, you break the hives, nothing too fancy. And luckily, they do almost, like, little to no damage, especially even on Titan mode. It's just crazy how these guys just do nothing. Something that just came to mind right now is, like, can you imagine if they were to fully remaster God of War 1 and 2? Like, what if they did a Dead Space remake situation where they just completely remade them? Not like in the God of War 4 style. I'm talking about, like, how the Dead Space remake worked, where it's just, like, maybe they add some parts or something, I don't know. They probably won't, because, like, story-wise, I'm sure some things wouldn't make any sense. But you get the idea. If they remade it, let's say, like, Crash or Spyro remakes, where they're not really remakes, they're more like remasters, but they're, like, ground-up remasters. Something along those lines, rather than just having the HD collection. It'd be kind of cool to see it, and I lost my train of thought. Shit. Oh, I know what it was. What if they added another difficulty mode that at least, or what if they changed some of the difficulty sections where they made enemies hit harder on Titan or God? That way it's even more, not every enemy would hit harder, but various specific enemies. I definitely think that God of War 2, out of all the God of Wars, could probably use a special, actually, no, 3 too as well. I think God of War 3, maybe even Ghost of Sparta, could use some balancing changes if they were to do that. But if they were to add an extra hard mode, that'd be fine. Or if they were to balance, or if they were to make Titan mode or God mode harder, then that'd be fine too. I wouldn't mind having God mode. I wouldn't mind at least having God mode for God of War 1 be a little bit harder. Definitely not toward the Ares section. No, don't do the Kratoses. They're already too hard enough. They're fine where they're at. But I mean, like, most of the basic enemies could be just a bit more stronger than what they used to be. But then again, I bitch about that, but yet once we get to the part where we're going to Clotho, which I think Clotho is the big sister, if you know what I'm saying, like the big multi-tittied sister, The big giant mommy milker one. Yeah, once we get to that section, we're doing the gauntlet fight, then I'm going to be crying about, you know, how hard the game is and how difficult it is and how the enemies are unfairly strong and all this other, you know, BS that the game just throws at you at that point, which, in all honesty, that section sucks. Like, that's just completely unfair, and I think they did that on purpose. I'm pretty sure at this point, there's no way in hell they just overlooked the enemies having more health. Like, that would have had to at least been an executive decision to make them even stronger, right? I mean, somebody somewhere had to say, yeah, let's just fuck with people, because why not? So, maybe. I don't know. I wasn't there in the studio when I made the games. I'm not a game dev, unfortunately, so... Or fortunately, depending on how you look on things. Game deving is hard. It's very hard. And I'm very slow. That's the problem. I'm slow at pretty much everything I try to learn. But, now we're going to get to the next part, and I'm going to leave something in that's going to look a little bit weird. But this next part is very irritating, so Urael is probably your best bet. I mean, granted, Chronos could also maybe work too, but I would suggest using Urael. If you have the capability of going for a heartbeat, go for it. These guys right here, whatever they're called, these warriors, let's just say that, I forget their names too, I need to read up on my God of War enemy names, my bestiary. They could be, you know, stoned pretty fast. It's just, I wouldn't worry too much about them as your main focus. I'd say try to stone at least, for the most part, the harpies, or at least grab them. That's what I'm trying to go for. Luckily, this game is not too mean and too brutal to where they make it to where you have an infinite supply of enemies that respawn. And this is where things get kind of weird. So I was upset that I didn't do that fight well enough, even though I came out relatively fine. So I restart the checkpoint, right? And I think to myself, I'll just restart the checkpoint and be fine. This guy spawns for whatever reason. I don't know why he's here. And it turns out the checkpoint was already finished. Like, I already did that section. So once all the main, you know, enemies are gone, if you were to restart that section like I did, then you'd just be stuck, well, at the end of it. So that pretty much just was no benefit. I left that in there just for the sake of it. Call it an Easter egg, I guess. For those that are watching. That's Easter egg number 2. That's probably Easter egg number 2 out of 2. I don't know if there's going to be any more Easter eggs, but we'll find out when we get to episode 19. That'll be the final episode for those that are curious. Alright. Speaking of areas that I just absolutely dislike, this is another one. So, coming up is going to be a ton of climbing, and I'm not the biggest fan of climbing sections in God of War. Depends on the climbing section. If it's Hades, then no. If you're at, like, the Typhoon place, it's alright. If it's God of War climbing, then yeah, hell no. If it's Chains of Olympus, then it's okay, I guess. It really kind of depends, but most climbing sections in God of War 2 are not that bad, mainly because they upgraded the climbing to be just almost magnificent and actually kind of fun. It's just the amount of climbing that you do in this part that just sucks. And not only that, but there's also the added rock falls. Now, something I didn't mention, but whenever you're destroying those rocks that were hanging onto the wall, when you destroy those, they will actually fall down and they could kill the enemies, but I don't think I had anybody that was spawned in, so. Alright, this is completely off topic, but it just came to my head all of a sudden. I have no idea why the hell Flushed Away popped in my head. And now my brain was like, did you know that Flushed Away had a video game? And I'm like, yes. And then my brain was like, you should do a guide to Flushed Away. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is what happens. My brain is so just everywhere all the time that I don't know what the hell I'm thinking of half the time. Things just pop in my head as they see fit, like that one, for instance. And now I'm curious to find out how the hell, or how much, you know, Flushed Away even costs. Well, I don't want to. That's probably pretty cheap. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just saying, like, I'm just curious, and that's the problem. I'm gonna look that up. Because we're about to do a climbing section, right? Yeah, I'm gonna look it up. Very unprofessional. Yes, I know. There was a 2? What the hell? I know it was on PS2, at the very least. Yeah, it's like $8, $9 on eBay. There's one that's like $4, no scratches. If you guys want to get a copy of PS2 version of Flushed Away, right on. Somebody 100% the game in 3 hours. Jeez. You know, it doesn't even... Looks like a platform, like a normal platform. It reminds me of Toy Story 2 for PS1. That's the vibe I get from it. Wait, who made this? Oh, D3 published it. Oh. I thought they... No, they made it too. Yo, D3 made this. As in, like, Deadhead Fred and Matt Hazard. That's dope as shit. Actually, no. Vicious Cycle was Matt Hazard and Deadhead Fred. It's just D3 published Deadhead Fred, and I think maybe published Eat Lead. I believe. Deadhead Fred is one of my favorite games for those who are curious. But yeah, this rock section is pretty much just climb up. You can only get like 1 or maybe 2 climbs up. And then there you go. Does this game even have a hard mode at all? I swear, if it has a hard mode, I'm going to be pissed. I don't know. I don't think it does. I don't think it has any difficulty modes at all. But yeah, after that rock climbing section, the rest is just home free at this point. And at this point in time, you you just do the thing where you Atlas Quake the entire time because you have infinite magic, so use it at your disposal. Also, for those that are curious, I would highly recommend start upgrading Atlas Quake as soon as you get it. You want to get this thing maxed as fast as possible. At least get it close to being maxed at the first translator section. Having a level 2 Atlas Quake at the first translator section is going to save you so much time. But having it maxed level would also help. We have a bit more places to go before we hit there. But yeah, you're going to want to start upgrading that. I think I get level 4 Blades and then I get Atlas Quake 2, maybe 3 by then. But we'll see. So anyway, that's it for this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see y'all next time. So take care, everybody.